Now, as you guys can probably already tell, I'm pretty big on this phone. And I've already left my iPhone 15 Pro Max behind for this absolute monster. And that might confuse you because on paper, this phone actually doesn't look all that different from the S23 Ultra, which doesn't look all that different from the S22 Ultra. So what's the deal? How could it be possible I'm convinced this is the best smartphone ever made? Well, I'll tell you what's not the reason first. It's not the hardware that made me switch. The S24 and S23 Ultra both have a 6.8-inch display, both have a 5,000 milliamp battery, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and a 200 megapixel camera. They both have a 120 hertz refresh rate, and the list goes on. Hardware-wise, there is a lot that's the same, but I do have a few very insane favorites. The screen has been upgraded to be way brighter from 1750 nits to 2600 nits, and that combined with a 12% increase to the screen responsiveness makes using the S24 feel unreasonably satisfying. Like even just this change alone has completely ruined the iPhone 15 Pro Max for me. 2000 nits on the iPhone 15 Pro Max feels so bad now, especially when the iPhone constantly overheats for pretty much no reason, and then the brightness tanks even worse than before. The other nice hardware change is the S24 uses a titanium frame instead of aluminum, and it definitely does look a bit more sleek, even though they did pretty much steal that feature from Apple. Now let's talk about why this phone is actually so revolutionary. 2024 was the year of AI, and the new software features have changed the smartphone industry forever. They're just easy, intuitive AI features, and they feel pretty natural to use. Let's start with my favorite, the circle to search feature. So to use this in any app you want at any time, you just hold down at the bottom of the screen and then circle anything you want. And what's going to happen is you will immediately get search results for whatever you circled. Now, another insane spot where the AI is super powerful is the photo section. And this is not limited to photos you took with the S24 Ultra. This will work with any photos that you took from anywhere. First up is Samsung's Magic Editor, which is super easy to get into. You just open any photo, hit edit, and then tap this star icon in the bottom left. Once you're in here, your only limitations are what your mind can imagine. You can erase objects, you can move objects around, you can rotate objects, whatever you want. Now, the S24 Ultra is probably not the absolute best device in the world for gaming, but it's pretty close. There are some pure gaming phones that inch it out by a few percentage points or so, but the S24 Ultra is pretty close to perfect. For the processor, it's featuring the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is an absolute beast. Now, jumping into my benchmarking software of choice, Geek Benchmark 6. We ran a single core score of 2180 and a multi-core score of 6551. And we also got a GPU score of 13257. Now, these results look awesome on the benchmark test, but I wanted to see how the device would actually perform in game. So first, I booted up Call of Duty Mobile and set the graphics to Ultra with the frame rate on Ultra. And throughout a good 20 minutes of gameplay, the S24 Ultra was super smooth. Next, I jumped into Need for Speed and on Ultra settings as well, and the gameplay was dope. And speaking of gaming, next week we're going to dive into all the details behind my gaming setup. So if you want to see exactly what goes into having a room like this, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss it.